We demand that celebrities change, and then we punish them for doing it. Think about it. An actor gains some weight, and the internet erupts. They've let themselves go, we say. They need to get back in shape. The pressure mounts, the headlines scream, and the comments are ruthless. So, they listen. They diet, they train, they transform. And when they finally reveal their new, slimmer physique, what happens? The exact same people who called them fat are now saying, "Oh, I liked them better before. They were cuter when they were chubby." It's a bizarre, frustrating cycle, a cultural whiplash that leaves everyone confused. This isn't just about weight or celebrity culture. This is about us. It's about the hidden biases and psychological games we play, often without even realizing it. So, what is really going on in our minds when we do this? From a psychological perspective, this contradiction reveals some deep truths about our need for control, our fear of change, and the complex, often dark, nature of comparison. Let's break it down. The first piece of this puzzle is what psychologists call cognitive dissonance. This is the mental discomfort we feel when we hold two conflicting beliefs at the same time. In this scenario, the two beliefs are: Belief A: being overweight is unhealthy and unattractive, and this celebrity should lose weight. And Belief B: now that this celebrity has lost weight, I don't like it, they've lost their spark. Our brains hate this kind of internal conflict. It's like trying to listen to two different songs playing at full volume. To resolve the static, we have to change one of the beliefs, or, more commonly, invent a new story to make them fit together. So, instead of admitting our own inconsistency, we rationalize. We tell ourselves, it's not that they lost weight, it's how they lost it. They look gaunt now. They seem unhappy. They were more relatable before. This rationalization isn't really about the celebrity's health or happiness. It's about resolving our own mental discomfort. The celebrity's body becomes a canvas for our own internal contradictions. We wanted them to change, but on our terms, and when they do it for themselves, it disrupts the neat little box we put them in. At its core, the criticism is a desperate attempt to regain a sense of consistency in our own minds. Secondly, let's talk about the comfort of the familiar. Humans are creatures of habit. We are wired with something called the mere exposure effect, or the familiarity principle. It's a simple idea. We tend to develop a preference for things merely because we are familiar with them. Think about a favorite old sweater. It might be frayed and faded, but it's comfortable. It's known. When a celebrity has a certain look for years, that image becomes ingrained in our minds. They become a familiar landmark in our cultural landscape. When they undergo a dramatic transformation, it's not just a physical change, it's a disruption of our expectations. That jarring feeling can be genuinely unsettling. We liked them that way because we knew them that way. The new version feels like an imposter. The "they were cuter before" comment is often just a disguised version of "I'm not comfortable with this change because it's unfamiliar." It's less of an aesthetic judgment and more of a subconscious resistance to the new and the unknown. We crave the predictability of the past, even when we simultaneously demand a different future. The third, and perhaps the most uncomfortable reason, is rooted in social comparison theory and envy. Formulated by psychologist Leon Festinger, this theory states that we have an innate drive to evaluate ourselves, often by comparing ourselves to others. Celebrities, for better or worse, are primary targets for this comparison. When a celebrity is overweight, they can feel more human and attainable. We might unconsciously engage in what is called downward social comparison, where we compare ourselves to someone we perceive as worse off in a particular area, which can provide a temporary boost to our self-esteem. We might think, see, even with all their money and fame, they struggle with their weight just like me. It makes them relatable and, frankly, less intimidating. But when that same celebrity loses weight and achieves a body that aligns with conventional beauty standards, the dynamic shifts dramatically. They move from being a source of comfort to a source of threat. Now, they represent an upward social comparison. Looking at them might trigger feelings of inadequacy, jealousy, and envy in us. Our own perceived failures are thrown into sharp relief. The pain of envy is a powerful and destructive emotion that is difficult to admit, even to ourselves. So we mask it. Instead of saying, their success makes me feel bad about myself, we find a way to tear down their achievement. We say, they've changed, or they lost their charm, or they were cuter before. This criticism isn't about them. It's a defense mechanism to protect our own ego. By devaluing their success, we attempt to soothe our own sense of falling short. This leads us to our final point, the insidious act of concern trolling. Concern trolling is a tactic where criticism is disguised as care. It's the online equivalent of saying, I'm only saying this for your own good. The comments aren't overtly hateful. They are couched in the soft language of worry. I'm worried about her. She looks sick. He lost weight too fast. That can't be healthy. She's lost the light in her eyes. I hope she's okay. While genuine concern is possible, more often than not, this is a socially acceptable way to pass judgment. It allows the commenter to feel morally superior. They're not a hater, they're a carer, while still delivering the same critical message. It's a way to sabotage or create doubt under the guise of support. The goal is to undermine the person's achievement while pretending to have their best interests at heart. This behavior thrives in online spaces where negativity tends to get more engagement. We are psychologically wired with a negativity biases, meaning we pay more attention to negative information than positive information. Concern trolling perfectly exploits this bias. It looks positive on the surface, but delivers a payload of negativity that our brains are primed to focus on. So when we pull all these threads together, the cognitive dissonance, the fear of change, the sting of social comparison, and the mask of concern trolling, we see that the contradictory criticism of a celebrity's weight has very little to do with the celebrity themselves. It is a reflection of our own internal world. It's a mirror showing our own insecurities, our own resistance to change, and our own complicated relationship with success and happiness. The impossible standards we set for public figures are often the same impossible standards we, consciously or unconsciously, set for ourselves. The core truth is this: they want you to live the life they expect, not the one that is your own. They want the version of you that makes them feel comfortable, that doesn't challenge their worldview, and that doesn't highlight their own insecurities. Ultimately, this cycle is a powerful reminder of the relentless pressure of external validation. It's a trap that tells you that you will be judged if you stay the same, and you will be judged if you change. The only way to win is not to play the game. It is to define your own worth, to pursue your own health and happiness on your own terms, and to untangle your self-esteem from the unpredictable and contradictory court of public opinion. Your journey is yours alone, and its value is not determined by the shifting opinions of those watching from the sidelines. What do you think? Have you ever noticed this phenomenon or even caught yourself thinking this way? Share your experiences and thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. And for more deep dives into the psychology behind our everyday lives, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Thanks for watching.